Hello. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Hi, Hobby.
Hi.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mind Goblins, the show where I came up with a name, thought it was really clever, and then someone told me that it was a ball joke. So, we get to work with that together. Joined by me today is the wonderful Hobby Tan. Say hello.
Hi.
Hobbytown is one of the streamers that kind of got me into wanting the stream. And yeah, they said yes when I wanted to interview them because I basically wanted to document's the wrong word. Like, just ask about the kind of process of where the road to becoming a streamer has gone for them. Yeah, introduce yourself.
Uh, okay. I'm really bad at introductions.
It's
I'll do
okay.
my best.
It's okay.
Hi, I'm Hobby Tan. They, them pronouns. I am a variety streamer based in Scotland. Um, Fairly recently based in Scotland. I play all sorts of games, all sorts of different genres. I've got a particular fondness for point and click adventure games, and I also paint miniatures, not just from Games Workshop, but from various different lines. And I build Gunpla. Uh,
Do you build
I
Gunpla?
occasionally do. I do build Gunpla. I have a 1/100 chrome effect Sinanju in a box since we moved house,
Oh
seeing as
wow.
he's not got anywhere to be displayed. But he will get a nice spot to be displayed in at some point in the future.
Lovely.
Yeah, I also do cross stitch when I have time. I do pixel art. The reason my handle is Hobby Tan is because I have so many hobbies.
That I think we're gonna be very good friends here, because I as well am looking at my wall of miniatures that I have 3D printed and built, and also my wall of Gunpla. Who because I watched the Gay Witch show, and that got me into
Oh
it.
yes,
The
of
space
course.
lesbians. It's important. Um,
Witch from Mercury is genuinely one of the best Gundam series, in my opinion.
it's so
It's so
good.
good. So good.
So right now, my current kind of hobby project when it comes to Gunpla is that my friend is like, "Hey, I've been wanting to paint Gundam, but I haven't really got around to it." And I was like, "Hey, I'll paint a Gundam kit if you paint a Gundam kit," and they're like, "Bet." So now I'm painting the RX, original Gundam. Like it's like that.
Oh, the 78.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
It's that not the beginner kit, but it's the high grade kit. That's like
Mm.
the refresh, and basically I'm just painting it like
Oh, yeah.
Nemesis Prime, because I like the colors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah. I have everything on little sticks. I feel all professional now because I bought like the little stick part holder thing. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah. But as much as I like talking about me, I want to hear more about you, Hobby. Hi.
Okay.
You
Hi.
are a fantastic artist.
Oh,
And
gosh. Thank you.
yeah, so it also seems like you are across a lot of mediums. One thing that we're kind of looking at right now, for viewers at home, you can kind of see that we have blown up is a little pixel art. It's the pixel art of you and dog. I
Yeah.
believe, if I'm right, that's based. The setting looks familiar to me. Is this based on anything at all in particular?
It is, yeah. So, a long, long time ago,
Uh,
quite early in my streaming career, I did a first playthrough of Valhalla on
yeah,
stream.
yeah.
And frankly, Valhalla has kind of influenced the way my channel looks and the general vibes.
Ooh, that makes a lot of
For anyone
sense.
who doesn't know, Valhalla is a cyberpunk bartending game, and it's super queer friendly. There's even a character who uses its pronouns, which makes me very happy. It's
Oh,
lovely to see that kind of representation in a game.
very cool.
And the art is just absolutely gorgeous. So, being someone who's dabbled in pixel art since I was a teenager, I decided one day that I was just going to have a go at recreating one of the characters, a character called Rad Shiba. But instead of it being a Shiba Inu, it would be my dog Porthos, who is a staffy.
Yeah.
And that's where we got Rad Porthos from. And then a little bit later, I decided to have a go at drawing myself in the same sort of style. So we've got the pair, as it were.
Very cool. And so you can't see this now, but I mean, you're probably here from Hobby. You're not here for me. But if for whatever reason you are here for me, go watch Hobby 10, see their videos and stuff. The digital Hobby is animated, and by my understanding, it's a kind of like a PNG tuber thing.
Yeah.
It looks great, by the way. For instance, I'm jealous because
Thank you.
my thing that I have
Thank you
going
so
on,
much.
yeah, the thing I have going on for my rig is that I found a thing called VTuber Studio. They had one body type, and also they're like, "Hey, do you want to be small child?" And I was like, "No."
Ooh.
But I can put pointy ears and green skin, so therefore I'm a goblin. Ah.
Yes, that works.
Yeah. One day, eventually, I'll graduate from generic creative character VTuber. But the thing is, I was actually going to curious to ask you, like, what do you use for your rig when it comes to that? Because it seems to like have very good. I'm assuming it's some sort of sound catcher.
It's a really neat bit of freeware called VideoTube Mini.
Oh, you mean the
I'll
thing
get you
the thing I'm using for you right now? Wonderful.
there we go. Yeah. I love VideoTube. It's really good, and it's so user friendly as well. So I'd never done anything involving VTubers before, but I really wanted to have a representation of myself that I could have on screen when I wasn't feeling up to being on camera.
Yeah.
Because on top of having all of the hobbies in the known universe,
Yes.
I'm also quite severely chronically ill.
Oh, sure.
And sometimes it's just like I don't have the energy to make my hair look tidy and smile.
Yes.
So camera goes off. We just have the PNG tuber.
100%.
But I wanted something there that people could connect with on those days when I couldn't be on camera.
Oh yeah.
So I got a fantastic artist called Carvistico to do a pixel art PNG tuber of my mascot Sona.
Yeah.
And that's been like a mainstay of the channel ever since. Even on days when I have my camera on.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, like, I saw that happen when I showed up, and at first I thought it was just kind of like an idle animation, but then I realized, like, oh, this looks great, and yeah, I love VTuber
Carv did
Mini.
a fantastic job.
I'm still trying to, like, okay, so the big thing that I got VTuber Mini was I just needed to have the guests have some sort of motion. Right now you're just kind of like swaying in the chair.
Yes.
The one thing that I don't know if you know how to do this. I don't know how. So I know how to get it to connect to my microphone, but I have no idea how to get it to connect to like just an audio source. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that I don't know because I do guest stars using a different tool.
Oh, I am curious. What are you using?
So I use something called Reactive, which is a browser-based tool by a company called Fujitech.
Okay.
Fujitech,
Yes.
I guess. But that's what I use for the late night lounge segments when I'm joined by my co-host DMAC.
Oh, lovely.
So that he can be on screen as well, because he's got his own PNG tuber that I had made by Carv, so that we had a matching set.
Gotcha.
For our regular segment.
That's fun.
It felt like when we first started doing them, it was just me that was displayed on screen, and it felt kind of weird to not have him there.
Yeah.
So it felt only right that if he was going to be joining me on the regular, he should have a proper visual representation on stream as well.
It's important. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I need to look into that because right now my Like I remember it was okay, cool. I can have guests. How do I make this work? They're gonna be on here in a week or something like that.
Well,
Um, and I
I
just
have
never
just
looked
sent
into it.
you the link to that so that you
Oh,
can take a look into it
thank you,
when you've got
Hobby.
some time.
I appreciate you.
No worries at all.
All right, and kind of going more into the art side of things, you do a lot of pixel art. Oh, we have some chatters. Hi, Robotnik, how you doing? Oh, this is lovely. Raccoon meets Goblin in a match. Raccoon meets Goblin, a match made in a dumpster. Lovely. All right, we're
Accurate.
yeah. Welcome to my dumpster. I laid out the nice rug.
Oh, thank you.
You're,
And the entrees that you've put out are great as well.
yeah.
I mean, I'm supposed to be able to eat that, right?
Hmm.
I'm supposed to be able to eat that, right? That is food. Yeah.
Um. Well, you know, the color plastic that we have here on this Cosmos figure is pretty okay. It's like I like the crunchy texture of it because the
Oh,
plastic's a
yes.
bit brittle. You know.
Oh no.
No, see, it's good for texture though, because I'm very
Oh,
about
that's
mouth.
true.
I'm very here about mouth feel. You know.
We do love a good mouthfeel.
Avi,
Yeah.
so right now we're just kind of cycling through some of your art. One thing we have a little pixelated white dwarf. Um,
Yes.
what does your process look like for when it comes to art? Usually, like specifically since you have a very specific medium with when it comes to pixel art.
Okay, so it really depends on the specific piece that I'm working on. So with the White Dwarf one, I had a reference to work from.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um, Fun fact, the White Dwarf pixel art came about because my mum was going to make me the White Dwarf Christmas jumper from, I think it was 1980. I want to say 1989. They had a Christmas jumper pattern in
Uh-huh.
White Dwarf.
Yes.
And I wanted a White Dwarf ugly Christmas sweater, but we can't find the pattern anywhere. But
Gotcha.
my mum's really good at making patterns for things,
Uh-huh.
and she's a fantastic knitter. So she said, if you can make the dwarf design for me, I will turn it into a sweater pattern.
That's awesome.
And that's what I did. But with that, I was working from a reference and kind of just eyeballing it, making sure that things looked right in comparison to where they were on the original image.
Hmm. Gotcha. And what kind of like so, pixel art, I'm assuming it's not, done on a piece of paper and scanned in. What program do you use?
So I have a very old now iPad with an application called Pixel Studio on
Lovely.
it, which is basically like an advanced version of Microsoft Paint.
That's awesome.
But prior to getting access to that, I did all my pixel art in Paint.
Sure.
I did it the old-fashioned way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No. We appreciate paint here on the channel. A huge thing of like, why use Photoshop when you can make horrors in Paint? It's important.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, so I'm having a bunch of like, we have a bunch of your pixel art because I was like, hey, do you have some photos to show on the show? And you're like, yes, and you dumped a bunch of photos on there, and they're all good.
I'd like to say I'm sorry, but that was after I whittled them down to the what I would consider the best ones.
there are some pretty good ones, and I just kind of want to get some context on it. So why don't we shoot to the reaction cam and take a look at some lovely art? Well, here I have a lovely picture of somebody who has seemed to made out with a vampire and has ghost face right over their shoulder. If you don't mind telling me a little bit of the context from here.
Yeah, sure thing. So this is part of a series I've been working on and off when I've had the energy, called 5 Color Killers.
Oh.
So this is the version of Ghostface from Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
and the poor guy that looks like he's made out with a vampire is Dwight from Dead by Daylight, who has just been brutally murdered by Ghostface, and Ghostface is taking a selfie with the corpse.
Oh, I just realized that. That's awesome.
So this series, basically, I'm going through every single killer that's been released for Dead by Daylight and doing a pixel art piece of them.
Yeah.
With a limited color palette, no more than 5 colors.
Ah, interesting.
Hence the name.
Yeah. That's very fun. Yeah, because, like, it looked like there was a bit of a story, and I was curious, because we have a couple of these that we're probably going to, like, cycle through. Let's see here. So we have that one. Then, of course, we have this lovely bunny gentleman. So there's a picture of 4 bunny people, and they're in different colors. What's this one from?
So this is this is a difficult one to explain.
Okay.
There is a character in Dead by Daylight called Legion.
Gotcha. Who
is basically a series of different characters that you can play as. There are 4 different killers who are all just labeled as the Legion. It's like different skins on the same character, basically.
Yeah.
But they have a skin for Robbie the Rabbit from Silent Hill 3.
Ooh, very fun.
And that's what this is. Now, I went with the Robbie skin for my Legion piece initially because DMAC is a very big fan of Robbie the Rabbit.
Awesome.
And this was a piece that was sort of done for him. So that's why that's there. I think I may have sent you the base Legion one that I did as well. I can't remember. I sent you a lot of stuff.
No worries. And as everyone's saying, there is a bunch of little monsters. Don't worry, we'll get to it. Let's see here. Is that the one where the person is exploding in tentacles? I think it's like it looks like a skeleton. They got some brambles on their face.
Oh no, this is a different killer. This is a movie tie-in skin for the Hag from DBD. And I really vibed with this specific design. This was the first 5-color killer piece that I did.
Oh, interesting.
This is what set it all off in the first place, because I went, this is just such a beautiful design. I really like this image. I'm gonna turn it into pixel art.
It looks really good. Like, no joke, this is the one I saw, and I'm like, oh my, like.
Thank you.
Of course. So what movie is this from?
I believe it's called Birch. It's not one I've seen personally.
Sure.
I just absolutely adore the skin.
Oh, of course, yeah. No. Like,
something
same.
that I definitely need to add to my list.
Oh yeah, no, same. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, that looks interesting. I want to know more, you know?
Yeah.
Well, hobby, as you are a hobby, we are going to look at some more of your hobby. Thus, squigs.
Okay. Yes.
Tell me about the Squig Sanctuary.
Okay, so I have a bit of a soft spot for squiggly beasts.
Yes.
And also a lack of impulse control.
Of course.
So I ended up sort of deciding to collect all of the original squigs. So Nebel from like the late 70s, early 80s, who is sort of the original proto-squig. He wasn't called a squig, but he was the faithful companion of Gobbledygook the Goblin from the White Dwarf comics. Lovely. So I have Nebel. I also have Gobbledygook.
Awesome.
And I have all of the original 80s Rogue Trader squigs, which are also technically proto-squigs. But then I started expanding that out to... I've got all of the 1998 Night Goblin squigs.
Sure.
I've got a couple of the Squig Racers, which were GW staff exclusives.
Ooh.
Don't ask me how I got those. That was hard.
Oh, that's interesting. As a person who loves really hard to find collectibles, I'd love to hear
Mm.
the story about that at some point, if you want to tell.
Well, in all honesty, it was just a case of I found somebody that was selling a bunch of them on eBay.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
were all like £100 each, so I just watched them and I waited.
Yeah.
And one day they lowered the price and sent me an offer, and I went, "Ah, go on then."
Yeah. Lovely.
And one of them I was sent as a gift by a very kind friend who absolutely shouldn't have, but I am so thankful that they did. Because now I'm only
awesome.
missing one Squig Racer.
Ooh, very fun. I'm looking at it now. I like I always like seeing it. It's the squig that looks like a ball of cheese with two toothpick legs.
Yes, the leggy Squig.
The
That's what I
leggy
call them.
squig. He looks like he's wearing like, you know, like striped up thigh highs.
I know. So quite a few of the squigs that I've picked up online have come through eBay, and they are pre-loved.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a running I want to call it a joke, but it's not really, is that when they come to the Squig Sanctuary, which is Old Zogwart's Squig Sanctuary for those that haven't heard me talk about it before, they get a nice hot bath, and they get seen by a goblin doctor who makes sure that they're in good health and gives them any like aids or anything like that they need to live out the rest of their squiggy little lives in comfort.
Lovely.
What that actually means is I dip the old metal squigs that are covered in decades worth of paint into Dettol and then scrub them with a toothbrush.
Oh, I see.
Until
Gotcha.
they're clean.
Gotcha. Lovely.
But we'll go with the bath, the spa treatment.
I do like the spa treatment. And for those of you who don't know who Zogwart is, he is a wizard that turns people into squigs. It's a favorite of mine because it used to be reflected on tabletop, to where you could roll and then turn something into a squig, and it was encouraged to bring a squig of your own, and you could have like little specific squigs with funny little hats, and that made me happy.
So what I was intending to do at some point was actually have a couple of squigs painted up to look like each of the sort of core Space Marine chapters.
Oh, lovely.
So that if Old Zogwart ever became a thing that we could use legally in games again,
Yeah.
I could switch my opponent's Space Marines, because it's always bloody Space Marines,
It's
isn't
always
it?
Space Marines, yeah.
Out with an appropriately themed squig.
Yeah.
With like a cutie mark with their
No,
with
that's
their faction icon.
that's adorable.
I think I might not have sent it to you actually, but I do have one that is a World Eater squig that somebody requested that I paint, that is just like a My Little Pony-ized version of a squig.
That's awesome.
White body, blue markings, and then the World Eaters logo as a little cutie mark on its butt.
I do like that cutie mark is like a good, it's just part of the vernacular right now for weird thigh tramp stamp that reflects your allegiance.
Yes,
I'm here for it.
It's fantastic.
Ow. Let's see. Oh, Robotnik's trying to get my attention by throwing bionicles at me. They're asking if it's a Warhammer. Yeah, no, so this is squigs, you know, they're Warhammer. Specifically, you know, Warhammer 40k, Rogue Trader. Of course, there's squigs in fantasy. But yeah, no, I adore all of the specialized squigs indeed, especially the ones that are my favorite are the Godzilla ones, because I am a Shin Godzilla enjoyer. We like him in our house. And why don't we just go and look at him real quick? Yeah. So, was this something that you just like, yeah, no, I have to make this, and then you just sculpted it? Is it mostly sculpted, or how did this work?
So Shin Squigzilla was a flight of fancy in the middle of the night when I was rewatching Shin Godzilla for like the 50 millionth time.
That's awesome.
And I just went, I have a Night Goblin squig that would make a perfect Godzilla. So I grabbed this little guy. He's not got that much in the way of modification, except for the fact that he's got tiny little arms that weren't there before.
Yeah.
So
Important.
they were green stuffed. I also green stuffed some, like, gills isn't the right word, but fleshy bits onto the side of the squig's mouth.
Yeah, you gotta
because
add the
obviously
ribbed flesh,
Shin's got all sorts of gumph going on there.
Oh yeah, it's important.
But yeah, that's the only real modifications that were done here.
Interesting.
Because the squig itself just lent itself really nicely to the sort of Godzilla shape.
Oh, so a lot of this is just Oh wow, I thought this was like, oh yeah, and they sculpt on the mouth, toothpicks for teeth. And it's like, oh no, it just looks like that. Love it.
No, the night goblin squigs are like just super spooky looking naturally, which is why I looked at it and went, I want to turn you into Godzilla.
It's important. It's important.
Oh, definitely. And obviously, as I discussed with you prior to tonight, or today, I suppose.
Yeah.
Time zones. He fluoresces under a black light.
Oh yes, as we can go here. Where are you? Yeah, look at him. Oh. Yeah, let's see here. We have. Hello, Grox. How are you doing? Also have.
Hi, Grox. Hi, Cypher.
Hi, guys. It's nice to see you all. It's funny because I always go to your guys' streams and I know who these people are. Now they're on my stream. I love the Shin Godzilla squig. I saw Shin Godzilla and then it changed me. And as a fan of giant monsters and body horror, the embodiment of it made me spend way too much money on the SH Figure Arts one.
Oh, you have the SH Figure Arts one.
I do. I got that.
That's what you sent me the picture of.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I hadn't realized it was the SH.
Oh yeah.
I am quite jealous. I'm quite jealous.
Don't be. I am in horrible amounts of debt, but.
Oof, I can imagine. But worth it though, right?
Oh, yeah, no, so this one is specifically like I think it was. Oh yeah, I bought the DVD on a whim, or it was the Blu-ray, and I watched it, and I was like, I am changed as a person. So I did before this in uni. I actually did I think it was a small video essay on like gamma radiations like that, and
cool.
Shin Godzilla plays a massive point in it. Not because I watched it at the time, but because like, okay, how do I get across the idea of scary gamma radiation? Oh yeah, there's one really good scene where they're lasering the entire like everything, and it's like, oh, that's cool. I knew what that scene looked like. I've listened to the music. When I watched that on my TV, no joke, I felt a sense of horror and I cried. Like, but that's because I'm a baby. But I love Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla's great. And also, so around then I was like, oh well, I have to see if I have a figure of this. And it was the night version where it's like clear plastic, and underneath the clear plastic they have this like kind of metallic coating, just to kind of get some shimmery like effects, and it looks really well. And also, of course, after that I saw that they had one of Katama-kun and the middle evolution, as it were, of Shin Godzilla, and then I had to go fight for that. Anyways, this is your interview, not mine. Speaking of which, let's go look at Katama-kun.
So the Kamata squig is my favorite squig in my entire collection because I love the boggle-eyed baby so much.
So good.
Thank you.
He's so wet. That's another thing. How'd you do? What kind of top coat did you use for that?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. It's been such a long time. I think I just used. People are going to be booing and hissing at me, I'm sure. I think I just used some really old Citadel gloss varnish on him.
No, that's perfect. It's perfect.
Like,
if it works, it works.
So old that it's got a completely different name now and comes in a completely different pot. Kind of old. But yeah, he was a lot of fun. Out of the two of them, he required the most modification because obviously I have done a lot of green stuff work on his lower jaw to make that look like it's sort of falling apart a little bit.
The blood gills.
The blood gills, yes.
Yes.
He's got some actually still quite pliable pieces of metal along his spine to give the effect of the spines that Kamata-kun had, which were cut out using a leaf shaper.
Oh, that's really smart. Oh my god.
Thank you. I am known to be given to the occasional bout of think. He's also got little green stuff arms.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to think what else I did.
Little tiny flippers.
This squig, the eyes are supposed to be on the front and they're like tiny little slits. So I actually covered over the original eyes and put the boggly eyes on the side.
Oh, I see. Well. Yeah. No, the boggly eyes are my favorite.
Thank you.
He has no thoughts, head empty. He's just going for a stroll.
Mood. Big mood.
No, I love it. I love it. As you like, I think my Kanama-kun, because you know I have the SH figure arts Kanama-kun and Middle Evolution, as it were. And yeah, he's my favorite. You know, he's my little guy. He doesn't know what's happening.
You can't be mad at him.
No!
Yeah, you can't be mad at him. He's just evolved lungs, for goodness sake.
He just got the lungs.
He's having a bad day.
Yes.
Yeah, he's having a bad day.
We got a head pat.
Oh,
thank
head
you,
pats.
thank you, Robot Nick. It's nice. Let's see.
Biblically accurate living sausage. Yeah, that's accurate.
Well done. That's hilarious.
Yes, Cypher, it probably is older than some people in chat.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, like...
a lot of my paints are.
I mean, I'm... Like, so you said it was before the pots changed?
Yeah,
wow.
I have a lot of very old paint that I have managed to revive multiple times. It will die completely one day, but I will attempt to necromancer every time anyway.
A paint necromancer should be a job title.
It should. They need one at GW for sure.
It's a little political here. Okay, for real though, can we talk about how like I can't get a single pot that's anything above like a sandy white, and like the minute you try and get like Korax, it's just like the paint and the medium has separated. You have this sludge with a bunch of goo. Have fun. And I'm like,
yep.
I just want a color match, please.
It's a nightmare, isn't it? My thing is that they keep changing the names of the paints that I use, and then they change the colors of them too. And I'm just like, but my blue? Where did my blue go?
Which blue is it? I don't know. You see, that is actually a business decision because, like, well, you have to go find out now.
Yeah. And then you find out that they don't do it anymore.
Oh.
So mix your own blue.
Mix your own blue, or just go Vallejo.
Yeah, or just go Vallejo, which is what I've done. Army paint is pretty good as well.
Oh, sure. I like Vallejo, but like they have the medium has like it's like a real thick resin kind of almost, and like just thinning it is kind of like it's not hard, but it's like the fact that you have to do extra work on it for me. And also it just tastes not as good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
it tastes awful. Vallejo tastes the worst of any paint.
Okay. I should point out that this isn't just me. Like, I'm a certified paint licker, you know? Like,
yep.
And one thing is, for whatever reason, Vallejo... So, like, acrylic paints shouldn't taste like anything. They usually should taste like water, you know? For whatever reason, Vallejo tastes, like, bitter. And I don't know if they put, like, a bitterant in it to keep me from licking the paints. But, you know, it's what I have to do. The brush got to be pointy. It's important.
Yeah, exactly. I think they do put something in the paint to stop people from drinking it for some weird, wonderful reason.
Look,
but the paintbrush licking is a thing. Mm-hmm. Like when I first started painting, a friend of mine got me to base coat some of their minis, and I saw them put their paintbrush in their mouth, and I went, "Okay, I will paint, but you will never get me doing that." And now I spend like 10 minutes every hobbying stream going, "Oh, this paint's disgusting. Where's the nice tasting one gone?"
You know. I think they should make a paint line exclusively for us paint lickers, just so that we can have like, yeah, it's like scented markers, you know, but except it's like
Yeah.
flavored
It
like
tastes like
acrylics.
raspberry.
Yeah, it's like, don't eat it. But it's just good. If not food, why food shaped?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, thank you, Cypher. I appreciate it. My little goblin avatar does make me happy. I'm trying to learn how to do
Yep.
like actual art so I can make my own, so it's not just like this. But you know, it's good. It's good. I think I made it cute enough.
Your avatar is super cute.
Thank you.
It's adorable. I love it.
I think I came to the VTubing in a similar situation of like, well, so like how I get ready and stuff requires like a pound of makeup. And I don't know if I want to do that all the time. And also my room looks like a landfill. So, you know, VTubing.
Big mood. Big mood. Very creative camera angles employed on my streams, believe me.
Hey, so you guys are on the ceiling today. Don't ask why.
Yeah, exactly.
So this next squig. So this squig I'm curious about. It is a larger squig, purple, green, red. Is this a reference to anything in particular, or just I wanted to paint something nice?
Okay, so this squig is a special squig. So I have a channel point redemption on my streams called Old Zogwart's Curse, which is for the princely sum of 40,000 bar tokens. Do you see what I did there?
Yeah, that's lovely.
You can get me to paint a squig using a prompt that you give me.
That's awesome.
And it can be anything. There's quite a few of the squigs that I've sent you pictures of that are things that have been done as part of Old Zogwart's Curse. But this one was requested by my mother. I did a fundraiser stream for Ukraine.
Oh, sure.
During the point in time when we were focused on that particular conflict rather than any of the others going on in the world.
Yeah.
As a bit of context, my grandfather was Ukrainian.
Sure.
So the things going off in Ukraine are kind of close to home for me,
course,
even if only sort of indirectly.
Sure.
And I am not in a position where I can do anything particularly helpful other than throwing money at the problem.
Of course. Yeah.
So we decided to do a fundraiser. And as part of that, this Old Zogwart's curse request was redeemed. And this little squig here is actually painted to look like a psanka, which is a Ukrainian Easter egg.
Ooh.
And they're sort of coated with layers of wax and then inked to give these really vibrant colors and very detailed patterns.
Yeah.
So it's quite a challenge to translate something egg-shaped onto that.
I mean, it's vaguely A-shape if you squint and have a bit of brain damage.
Yeah. It's egg-shaped with a tail and teeth. So it was quite a fun little challenge, but it also represents something that's very important to me and my heritage.
That's awesome.
I love this little guy.
That's awesome.
He's not finished yet, and his partner hasn't been finished either. Cause,
sure. Oh, yeah, because it's two, right?
It's a pair for this space, yeah.
Yeah.
The partner squig is going to be painted up to resemble a scarf that my mother was given, which was made in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So we're still keeping that kind of theme there as well.
Very fun. Yeah, this particular squig model is awesome. I think it's one of the ones that made me like, AOS could be cool, you know, because it's so good. It's so good. It's this giant. Oh, also, I should point out, chat. This is a massive figure. It's like think of like.
He's a big boy.
Oh, it's so good. I won these days just to paint, display, have them all good. Because I mean, I have so many figures from just everywhere. Like, yeah, I don't play that system, but like, it looks cool though.
Yeah, I'm very much the same. Believe me.
That's really nice. That's really nice, and I'm happy that I got to learn that about this. Yeah. We have a bunch of other squigs. of course, you know,
do.
we'll do some. So we have like oh my god, I just realized. So I saw the Ghostbuster squig, right? Or at least it was the, you know, the
Yes.
little green boy. I just realized though, you have raccoons for all of the Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Tell me about how this happened, please.
Okay, so the raccoon Ghostbusters were sent to me by one of my viewers,
Yes.
Torpor. Torpor, if you're lurking, thank you very much for those, because they were a joy to paint.
Awesome.
I can't remember the name of the game system that they're from. It's Panic at Something Manor, I think.
Sure.
But obviously, raccoons are a big thing for me.
It's important.
I identify very deeply with them, and I am a huge fan of Ghostbusters.
That's awesome.
I am pretty sure, as much as I would love to say that I'm an Egon, I'm probably a Ray. If anybody's going to accidentally end the world by summoning a giant marshmallow man, it'll be me. So I got these in the post, and I got to painting them on stream. I love painting animals,
Sure.
because or anything from nature really, because it's really fun to just sort of have something that's not clean and consistent, and it's supposed to be like that. I love painting stuff like that.
It's not supposed to be like you painted it on the drafting table, you know, like it's
Yeah.
the brush marks and stuff add a bit of realism and naturalism to it.
And the little Slimer on the bottom of the Venkman figure, I made him because frankly, the Venkman figure just sort of being the way he was and not having a Slimer didn't feel right to me. I was just like, it needs to be the he slimed me Ray scene. So that's what I did. And I got some like heat forming polymer stuff. And made the little Slimer, painted a little face on him. He's not perfect, but you know what? I think that makes him more special.
Yeah. I do love it because like especially the dripping bits and stuff, and like just to clear, you know, and I'm assuming
so fun to do.
I'm assuming this is the same polymer they used to make the squig, or
no, I did that with some water effect mixed with PVA glue and fluorescent paint.
Oh, yo, yeah, no, I have some Vallejo still water that I throw on my Tyranids whenever I get the chance, just to give them some goop.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, oh yeah, I got, like, they're in the sewer. What do? Well, I just get a bunch of green, brown, and just paint until it looks gross, and then I throw it on everything. It's great. Oh man, this is fantastic. Speaking of raccoons, tell me, I am curious, why the raccoons?
Why the raccoons? Yeah. Okay, so a long time ago, there was a meme going around that was... It was basically like one of those live, laugh, love kind of things, except it was about raccoons. And it said something along the lines of, I am like a raccoon. I have dark circles around my eyes.
Yes.
I eat trash.
Yes.
I'm round and I will fight you. And I just sort of, I read it and I went, oh my god, it's me.
It's me.
they just like me, for real.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And here we are.
Lovely. Yeah, I feel that on a spiritual level.
I just, you know, I eat trash, and I sit around, and I'm always tired, so it just works. Robotnik, the new Ghostbusters. I have opinions. They're probably not the same opinions as other people have. Put it that way.
Ooh, interesting. I do just have to point out, I have that one British idiot who's telling me that their friends are painting night haunts the bi-flag colors. They have been dubbed the disexuals, and that's hilarious. Well done.
Fantastic. Bravo.
Oh, I'm just
Raccoons do know two things: the world is trash, and trash is delicious.
trash is
The
delicious.
other one I like is I may be trash, but I'm somebody's treasure.
Oh, that's adorable. I love that one. That one's great.
It is. It's super cute, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm just looking through some more of the squigs, and I just realized that this is Ukrainian squig. I didn't even realize that when you sent it to me with the sunflowers and the and the color part. Also,
that one was a commission for my mother.
Oh,
an actual commission.
That's adorable.
I occasionally do commission work.
Gotcha.
But she wanted a Ukrainian flag squig, and I said, "Do you want anything on the base?" And she said, "Can you make me some sunflowers?"
Aww.
So I found a company that makes like plants for train sets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Train set stuff works great for model stuff.
Oh yes. So I got some sunflowers so that she could have a little squig that is roaming through a sunflower field.
Aw. No, that's really fun. A couple more things we're going to touch on here, and then we're going to do audience questions and just kind of general blabbing. One thing, so I am curious about the mushroom cart.
The mushroom cart, yes.
Yes. What is the context behind the mushroom cart?
So, alongside Warhammer and Kingdom Death, which I think I also sent you some of my minis for that. I also am into Turnip 28.
Turnip 28 is awesome. I love it. Max, if you're here, get on the show. I DM'd him, and he's like, maybe I'd be into that. We even made him a VTuber and everything. Anyways, sorry, back to you.
Oh, that's so cute. Max is such a sweetie as well, because I shared my Cordycepori. That's what my my army is called for Turnip 28. They are feudal Japanese samurai, and this is my daimyo. So the like the liege lord of the area, basically. But they are all fungus themed, so it's like they've been possessed. Not possessed, but they've been taken over by cordyceps, which is a kind of parasitic fungus. Two things I really like: bugs and fungi.
Yes.
So I kind of bundled those things together along with my hardcore weeb nature, because I love everything Japan.
It's important.
J-horror, feudal Japanese history.
J-horror's great.
I'm a big Japan dork.
Of course.
So what I wanted to do was sort of expand on some of the samurai stuff that was in the Turnip 28 rulebook and make that into its own unique faction.
Yeah.
And this is the sort of, I can't remember what the proper term for them in T28 is, but the guy that just doesn't do any of the work and tells everybody else what to do.
I believe that's a tough.
Toff, there we go. So this is my version of a Toff. He is the Daikon Daimyo. He has a turnip for a head.
Lovely.
Or a radish for a head. It's a radish. He's the radish spirit if you've seen Spirited Away.
Love it.
And he is being pulled along by a giant mutated rhinoceros beetle.
That's awesome.
In his rickshaw, which is just covered in little mushrooms. If I ever get around to painting it all up, the mushrooms that are on the corner posts of his cart are actually going to have more of my fluorescent blacklight paint on them. So they'll basically function like lanterns on the edge of the cart.
Yeah. That's so smart.
Bioluminescent mushrooms instead. Thank you. But it was really fun to put them together, and all of the little mushrooms were 3D printed by one of my viewers, Modhail, who is an absolute legend, and basically said, "What do you need for this?
Oh, sure.
Because I want to see you succeed with it."
That's awesome.
Then, like a couple of weeks later, I got a huge box of mushrooms in the post, which sounds way more illicit than it was.
Oh, that's fantastic. So a big thing I'm noticing here is just you have a very, very big love for a bunch of tabletop. Tabletop's great. Is there any particular tabletop stuff that you're into that people aren't kind of aware about? Because, you know, like everyone has some 40K miniatures or some fantasy miniatures and stuff like that. What's something that like no one really looks into, but you have a bunch of? Or not even a bunch of, but just something that you like.
Okay, well, one thing that I actually do have a bunch of,
Mhm.
that nobody else knows exists, is something called Relic Knights.
Relic Knights, okay.
It is a science fiction skirmish game set in the far reaches of outer space by a company called Soda Pop Miniatures, who folks might recognize from a board game called Super Dungeon Explore.
Okay.
So they did this thing called Relic Knights, and I was in the heady days of my Kickstarter obsession at the time when they announced the Kickstarter for it.
Yeah.
And I backed it for everything. So I have all of the Relic Knights and nobody to play with.
Well, I'm just
I've
saying.
sold a few things on over the years, just because, like, you know, I need space, I need money, and these things are sources of both of those. But I've still got quite a lot of them, and at some point I'll probably paint them.
Sure. Oh yeah, one day. I'm saying as I look toward my collection of Zombicide miniatures and Bloodborne, the board game. Have you heard of Zombicide?
I have, yeah. I didn't get in on that one, to be honest with you, because I don't know anybody else that was into it, so I've tried to avoid getting into too many things that nobody else is interested in.
Of course. I envy that position, because usually I'm the one that gets other people into things. So there's a lot of things where I have them, like, people will probably play this. And we did for, like, a solid, like, 4 months. Well, because usually... Yeah, because usually I'll bring the board games, everyone plays them. Eventually we'll grow out the board games and stuff like that. But then at the end of the day, I'm sitting here with a bunch of miniatures that I don't use. The reason why I brought up Zombicide and stuff is because I have the Ghostbusters Zombicide expansion right here that is unopened because I got it like right towards the end of like us playing Zombicide. So I have, you know, the nice little figures here. So some other things outside of real quick, I need to know the Sharktacon. How did this come to be?
Okay.
Yes.
So that is another old Zogwarts curse request, but that was one that was basically it was redeemed for me to design a squig for Wib.
Yes.
Of Snipe and Wib.
Yes.
Because we're good friends at this point, which is something I never thought I'd be able to say, but here we are.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Like, that whole thing's kind of weird for me.
So was it a thing you were like a fan of their stuff and then just kind of started hanging around until you guys became friends? Gotcha.
Yeah, basically. My partner and I had been into Fighting Evil is Cool for years.
Sure.
Before I started watching them on Twitch, and then the rest is history, as they say. But on one of my painting streams, Wib was in chat, and I can't remember who it was that redeemed it, but somebody went, you know what, I'm going to redeem an old Zogwarts curse request, and Wib gets to pick what it is.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wib, being absolutely obsessed with Sharktacons, asked for a Sharktacon. There he is.
That's awesome. Speaking of Wib and his Sharktacons, he's the reason why I have about 4 of them here.
Because that doesn't surprise me. He's a bad influence.
so I was a fan of, you know, Codex Compliant and all that jazz. Like, I like their kind of stuff. And you know, I started listening to their podcasts, started listening to their streams, and like another, like, when it comes to influences on streams, it was you, Longfang, and Snipe and Whip and stuff, because, you know, they're just they know how to, like, we're just doing this and it's fun, and it's like, it can just be fun, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Snipe and Whip and Longfang are actually the reason I started streaming as well.
Oh yeah.
So to be included amongst them for inspiration for you is just so humbling, so thank you. That's very sweet of you.
Of course. So, yeah, and then, of course, Wib did a Transformers video, And then I became obsessed, and now I'm looking at my
Yep.
giant wall of Legacy figures and Armada Prime.
Yep.
Death Source is chilling out, and I got my Grimlock shelf, the Grelf as I like to call it.
Yep. As is only right and proper.
Mhm.
Grimlock deserves an entire shelf.
He does, because mostly
He's a good boy.
He's the best boy. No, but that's lovely. That's really fun. I also like, so I'm noticing this on a bunch of the things. There's these little triangle things that look like writing of some sort.
They are, yes.
Explain, please.
Every single one of my squigs, once they're completed,
Yes.
once they're fully painted,
Uh-huh.
gets their name in orc sigils
Oh,
written on their base.
That's great. I assume that if I could find a translator, I would get to know them, mostly because I need to know what the yellow blob one is on top of the little machine.
Oh,
Looks like
gosh, I
banana.
can't remember what I called him now. This little guy has a fun story behind him.
Please.
So he was part of a set of 3D printed squigs that were sent to me
Sure.
by a member of the community. Unfortunately, they were sent to me during one of the hottest summers we've ever had on record.
Yeah, I
and
remember seeing
they've
that.
not had quite enough time to cure. So this poor little guy was sat in my cabinet with the rest of the squigs. And about a week after they'd arrived, I went, it smells really funny in here. Why does it smell like resin?
Yeah.
And I looked over at my cabinet, and a bunch of the squigs I'd been sent had exploded and started leaking resin out onto my shelf.
Yeah.
And I managed to repair most of them, but this poor little guy's legs didn't make it. So I busted out my Warhammer Epic Orc box.
Oh, I just realized that's a death roller on a rhino. That's hilarious.
It is. And I turned it into a little mobility roller for him so that he can still pootle about without needing any assistance.
That's adorable.
And that's why he looks so happy. He's actually, I don't know if you can really tell from the picture, but he's actually got a couple of drops of spit coming out of his mouth and going behind him like he's going along at speed and just really enjoying himself.
Oh, that's awesome.
No squig gets left behind at Old Zogwilt's Squig Sanctuary.
No, of course. It's important. Oh, no.
I think we called him something like Speedy or something like that. I haven't had to do any translation in a long time, so
Sure.
I've kind of forgotten.
Oh, no worries.
But
I'm
I've still got the list of all of the sigils
Of course.
on my phone somewhere for the next time I need it.
Of course. So you're a fantastic hobbyist. You're a fantastic creator.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. And I remember that I saw mentions of it. I think it was in the Discord. Basically, like, at some point you went through like a rebranding, and that was really hard for you.
I did.
Go into that a
It
little
wasn't
bit.
so much that it was hard, it was complicated.
Yes.
So I was originally called Hobby Squig on
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
The idea being that I was a squig that helped you out with your hobbies,
Yes.
or that I might be two orcs in a pantomime costume.
Of course.
Nobody would ever know.
Nobody.
But then Games Workshop released their announcement about people using
The animation.
anything that was related to them, and cease and desists and things like that. And I was like, can't really sell merch with a squig on it, even if it is a custom designed one, because I might end up getting sued, and I can't afford that.
Of course. Yeah.
So I decided I was going to rebrand.
Of course.
But around about the time that this was happening, Snipe and Wib were doing a Halloween special for their YouTube channel about my favorite cryptid.
The Mothman one. Right?
Mothman.
Yeah.
Yes. And they'd asked me to guest on it and
Aww.
read some very filthy comments from people in the Mothman guest book.
Oh, I love that bit. That's so funny.
Yeah, I got the real bonnet ripper of a comment.
Oh yeah.
And I leaned into it as best I could.
Of course, it's
but
important.
I was going to Scotland around about the time that that episode was due to release to visit Longfang and DMAC.
Sure.
And it was like the first time I'd ever been to Scotland. I was very excited.
Sure.
And Wib reached out to me and was like, what name do you want us to put on the video? Because I know you're going through a rebrand and I want to make sure people can get directed to the right place.
Yeah.
And I went, I wasn't going to rebrand until I got back, but you know what? Just put Hobby Tan and I'll work it out.
And the rest was history.
Yeah, so in the week leading up to me going to Scotland, I did countdowns every day on Twitter, posting images of raccoons with the number of days left until I went on my holiday. And I didn't stream for the entire week that I was in Scotland, obviously.
Yeah.
And when I came back, the day I got back, I posted a message on Twitter saying, I had such a great time, but I'm feeling really funny now, so I'm going to go to bed early. And then the next morning, I switched everything over to the new username and I posted a reference to Kafka's Metamorphosis on my Twitter. I said something like, what was it? It was one morning, Hobby Squig woke up and found out they had transformed into a giant raccoon. and that was that. Then I was the Hobby Tan.
That's the best. That is great.
Because what's a rebrand without a little body horror?
It's important.
Yeah.
It's like the fly, you know, all the chunks of mushroom come off. And then to reveal the fur underneath.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd always like seen my channel as being kind of like a virtual bar.
Yeah.
So the idea of the raccoon mascot is that, you know, I'm sort of stuck in this corporate grind in this cyberpunk universe where I'm running this bar. And they make me wear this mascot costume while I'm at work.
That's really funny.
And that's the lore for the Hobby Tan raccoon mascot.
Gotcha.
And for anyone that's not in the know on that as well, as much as Tan is actually my name, the reason that I went with Hobby Tan as the rebrand is because Tan is also the honorific used for mascots in Japan.
Yeah.
Which is why the cute raccoon mascot is my avatar.
It's important.
Because it's all just sort of a play on the idea of Japanese corporate mascots.
Yes. That's really fun. I love that.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. This was great. I'm so happy to have gotten you on the show.
I'm so happy to have been able to join you for it.
Yeah. Before we go into audience questions, and right now, audience, if you'll any questions for Hobby, feel free to throw them in the chat now. We'll get to them right after I do some last minute questions and stuff. One thing I wanted to talk about is more kind of some logistics, or less logistics, more the technical side of things. One thing I noticed is that you have a lot of really good, specific, like, you can watch your streams deaf, by my understanding, because you have real-time subtitles and stuff like that.
I do, yes.
How do?
How do?
Yes.
I will send you the link to the captioning tool I use as well. It is unfortunately Chrome exclusive. Unfortunately, all of the free captioning tools that are available rely on something that you can only access through Google Chrome.
Sure.
And as a security professional in my day-to-day life, I hate using Chrome for anything because it is super insecure.
Are you telling me that you're also in cybersecurity?
Yeah, I do cybersecurity for a finance company in my day job.
All right. So another tick on the I might just be a clone of hobby right over here.
Fantastic.
All right. That's awesome. I like the inclusivity that you do with your. Is that
Thank
the
you.
right word? I'm pretty sure. The of just trying to make sure that anyone can come to your streams, enjoy, sit down, relax. You make everyone feel welcome. You make everyone feel at home, and that's lovely. I think that's important. You're for
Thank
reals
you.
when it comes to that. You're a massive inspiration to me, in general, and I'm trying to take an ounce of that energy on my own streams. That's
Thank
not
you very
really.
much. I think you're doing a grand job of it as well.
Aw, thank you. That's not really a question. I just wanted to thank you for being you.
Oh gosh, thank you.
Yeah,
That's very kind.
I'm glad. Let's see here. We have one British idiot who is asking. Oh no, he's not asking. He's just saying, that is the most orc solution for your Tyranid mushroom dog losing his hind legs. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that was what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Like, what would the orcs and the goblins do here?
Yeah, what? Because, like,
Give him a mobility scooter?
squigs are important. Squigs are important.
Yeah.
They're companions, family.
Yeah.
It's good. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, no.
exactly.
So, hobby, tell me, is there anything that you want to touch upon with your creative process, your channel, anything of such?
I think just where the accessibility side of things is concerned, I know it's not perfect. I do the best I can, but it was important for me to make it accessible for people because I know people from outside of Twitch that historically weren't able to be involved in things like this because, for example, I have one friend who needs hearing aids, and they don't want to be wearing them all the time because it's uncomfortable, that kind of thing. And streams can go on for a really long time, so I thought maybe the best thing to do there was have something where they don't have to have the sound on, they can just read what's being said, which is where the captions came in. The thing that I am most proud of on the channel is something that I didn't build or find or anything like that. It just it's inherent almost in the bot that I use now, and that's the pronoun functions that we have. So a fantastic streamer called VRFlad built a pronoun plugin for streamer.bot. And what it does is it feeds into the like online streamer pronoun Twitch pronouns thing that you can put your pronouns into, but it also allows you through streamerbot to assign different pronouns to yourself if you want to. So we wanted it I wanted it to be a space where if folks were experimenting with their identity and like wanted to try some new pronouns for a bit but weren't ready to share those with every channel they followed, that they could just change them on my channel and use those pronouns there and see how they fit, if they're comfortable, and if they don't like them they can change them to something else. And thanks to one of my mods, Big Butch Goth Girl, we found out that you can literally change them to anything because they changed all their pronouns to dingus. Just to test whether it worked, and it did. And then we changed them back.
They're hilarious.
Yeah, Tids is great. I love Tids to bits. But it's really important for me to have those kind of things in place for folks watching so that you know that it's a safe environment and that you are respected. And that your agency is respected in that space as well. A couple of folks suggested that the Retro Raccoon, my bar, is kind of like the Twitch equivalent of Callahan's Place. Which is a bar from a series of science fiction stories. But it's just like the most chill and welcoming space. people just turn up there, they share their problems, they tell bad jokes, and they just chill out and have a nice time.
I love
And
that.
the fact that people associate my channel with that is just sort of wonderful. That's exactly what I wanted to happen, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad that it has.
I'm so happy for you. So the road to going to where you're at now, what would you say the biggest, like, not necessarily challenge, but kind of some things that, like, how did that process look for you?
So I started streaming because I was supposed to be going on holiday with some friends, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So instead of like just doing a Discord call between all the people that we were supposed to be going on holiday with and playing games together and having our holiday air quotes virtually, we decided we'd stream the holiday, as it were, and raise funds for charity. So that was like the second stream I ever did. The first stream I ever did was playing Ghostmaster just to make sure that I could actually stream without it breaking.
Love it.
But it all came from that place of wanting that sense of community and wanting to help other people.
Yes.
So my approach is kind of different from a lot of folks on the platform.
Sure.
Because as long as I'm having fun and the people watching are having fun, I don't care about things like numbers or like the amount of donations or things like that. All I care about is that we're all having a good time. I mean, when people contribute financially to the channel in some way, it's great because it allows me to continue using things that make the streams better anyway, because it allows me to pay for those things on a regular basis.
Yes.
It also keeps Porthos in his treats.
Oh, sure. Yes, it's important.
But I think the biggest challenge is not getting in your own way. Because, you know, you can, unless you've turned it off, you can see the number when you're live, and it can really get under your skin sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, that's we have a lot of that here.
Yeah, and getting past that and going, no, it's okay as long as the people here are having fun, and especially if they come back for more.
Yes.
Then that's what really matters, and will grow with time. Like initially, my partner kept telling me that I needed to play more current games or like hot topic games, as it were, because that would get me more viewers. And I went, no, I don't want to. I want to play these 20-year-old point-and-click adventure games. Thank you very much. I will continue enjoying the games that I'm playing and getting overexcited about Monkey Island to people. And you know, if you stream it, they will come.
That's great. That's fantastic to hear. And like, I honestly, maybe something I needed to hear, me specifically. That's just great. Yeah, because also I think I felt it a little bit recently, especially like I don't want to play the hot ticket item. It's like, and because you definitely, especially when you first start streaming, you get into that mindset of like, oh, but if you're not, you're actively sabotaging yourself. But you here have built a wonderful, wonderful audience. They love and support you, and they're there at every single stream. And you got that from just being you. And the fact that you're kind of this example of, well, no, you can just be you, and the people will come, you know? And that's awesome. That's just so great to hear.
I genuinely love that I've managed to basically find my people on Twitch. It's really nice. And a lot of them are, and I swear I'm going to crumble to dust when I say this. A lot of them are quite a lot younger than I am. Because I'm into my 30s now. And because a lot of them are quite a lot younger than I am, I'll go, oh, what about this thing? And they'll go, I have never heard of that. And then I have to remind myself that they weren't even born when this game that I absolutely adore and grew up with came out. But then I go, hang on a minute, you've never heard of it, which means you've never seen it. And then I get to share something that is so important and special to me with basically a new generation of gamers and get them
Yeah.
into something that they might not have experienced otherwise. And that is such a wonderful and kind of powerful feeling.
Uh-huh. That's adorable. That's fantastic. Yeah. And on all those lovely notes, I was looking at the Squig Sanctuary, and I noticed that there's one that looks like a boglin, and I think that's great.
Oh, which one's the boglin looking one?
Hold on.
There's a couple that look kind of boglin-y.
Here.
Yeah, that's one of the 3D printed ones.
Yeah. I see
Yeah.
there's a lot of 3D printed ones in here. You can see the resin.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have a big 3D printing station that makes it look like I'm cooking meth in the corner of my room. Because, you got all the vats of chemicals and stuff and just hunched over with a respirator and gloves.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We have a couple questions. The one British idiot has asked a question. Have you ever used Vallejo paints, and if so, what do you think? I'm a fan of their metallics myself.
I have used Vallejo paints. My opinion on them depends on which paint it is. I found that their blue paints tend to be really runny, which isn't particularly helpful for me. The pigment just doesn't apply in the way that I want it to, so I tend to avoid their blues. But they did a pink paint. I can't remember what it's actually called.
Sure.
We renamed it a couple of years back to Pepto Squigmol. Because it is the pink paint that I use when I'm painting pink squigs. And it looks like Pepto-Bismol. But that is an absolutely fantastic paint, and I want more of it. It's amazing. Yeah, I tend to pick my paint brand based on my experience of that specific color range within any specific brand.
Yeah.
So like I prefer Army Painter yellow, I prefer Vallejo pink.
Sure. Yeah.
Will avoid Vallejo blue at all costs. Might probably use Citadel for my blues.
Oh, really? Is the blue
I,
bad for Vallejo?
It's just really runny, and
Sure.
I don't get along with it.
Oh yeah, no, that's
It's
valid.
probably fine if you're using an airbrush or something like that,
Sure.
but I don't have an airbrush.
Yeah.
Everything I do is hand painted.
We have Inquisitor Grox who is saying there will always be some old folks in your chat hobby. Smiley face.
That is true, but you're not one of them, Grox. You're the same age as me, so don't start that.
Thank you for coming to this one, Grox. I appreciate it. It's always like it. Yeah, I think the one that specifically, like, I usually pop up in Long Fangs because he's great to listen to just while I'm doing stuff.
Oh yeah.
And Grox is always there, and I love Grox. Grox is great. I think Grox is
a good bean.
Grox is the reason why I had a sub originally, I believe. On he gifted me a sub like immediately when I showed up to Long Fang stream way back when. He's great. And then Grox may be referring to me, says Toporo 120.
Yeah, that's fair, Torpor, but you're only as old as you feel, right?
Yeah.
That's the important bit.
Alright, well, on that note, is there anything you want to tell the audience before we start wrapping stuff up here?
Okay, the important one is I will be live on my own channel, in about an hour and a half, 9 p.m. UTC.
Yeah.
For what we call the Late Night Lounge.
I do like the Late Night Lounge.
I and my good friend and co-host DMAC will be starting a playthrough of the Junji Ito inspired World of Horror.
I love World of Horror so much!
I am super hyped for it. I've been meaning to play it for ages and haven't found the opportunity, and we were just like, should we play World of Horror? Let's play World of Horror. So we're going to play World of Horror.
Okay, people, British Idiot, Robotnik, you too, go to Hobby 10, watch that stream, because I might also say hi. It's at Hobby 10, correct?
Yes.
Cool.
Also, I want to give a little shout out to my stream team, the Clock Tower, because frankly, without them, my audience wouldn't have grown in the way it has over the past year. I joined them almost this time last year. It was March of last year I joined them, and it's a wonderful community of horror appreciators, very queer positive,
Yeah.
very accessible as well,
Yeah.
and just generally all round a very wholesome community.
Yeah.
Wonderful streamers that are a part of the team itself as well.
Yeah.
So if you like horror stuff, please do check out the Clock Tower. They are a great bunch.
That is also a great name. I do love Clock Tower. We have a little man running
so
around with scissors.
Good, isn't it?
It's the best.
Yes. Clock Tower was one of the first point-and-click adventure games I ever played.
I love Clock Tower so much. Is there anything you want to plug? Twitch, Patreons, anything like that?
So there's the Twitch. There's links on my Twitch channel to my coffee and all of that side of stuff as well. My merch store, which may or may not be getting a bit of a refurb soon.
Ooh.
So you might want to keep your eye open for that. But yeah, I don't have a Patreon at the moment. I've been thinking about setting one up, but I have no idea what to do as rewards, so I've never bothered.
Gotcha. All right, and for here, thank you guys for watching. If you want to support Mind Goblins, go down to the little Kitangu from 2007. Click on him. You can give some money via Streamlabs. Not required. There's also Patreon, stuff like that. You get some insight on how the kind of process goes and support the show. But the biggest thing, just keep watching if you really want to support me. That makes me so happy. And on the last bit, out. That was Bonkles. Hold on, that button. Head pats. Yeah, that's good. Thank you all for watching, and the VOD for this will be up on the YouTube channel shortly after this. Hopefully, I'll get it up today. And yeah, thank you so much for coming to the show, Javi. I appreciate you.
Thank you for inviting me, and you're most welcome. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. You all have a fantastic rest of your day. Goodbye.